Okay, we are live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, returning guest. His name is Leumas, and he operates the Chant It Down radio. And you'll see that at his website on the screen if you're watching this on X or Rockfin or Rumble. And I think this is our 10th or 11th show. You can see all the other ones we've done. We've done a lot of shows on kind of science fiction and advanced technology. And this will be one in that kind of theme. We've done PSYOP after PSYOP after PSYOP. We've covered election mind control, DARPA, global death cult, gene therapy, and the Lahaina Inferno, which might be a high-tech event. Whether we know it or not, I don't know what happened there, but the whole place burned down and everybody got a bunch of garages in return, and they haven't really rebuilt it, which is incredible. But today our show is going to be titled Emerging Technologies in the New Golden Age. We're doing a lot of chatting in the pre-show about so much stuff that's like coming out and things that are being revealed. And this new, I think it's an important topic within this new administration with so many tech heads, really oligarchs, when Trump when he came into office in January 20th, 2025, behind him were all the tech giants, and including Elon Musk, who's really maybe one of the point persons in his whole administration, this guy who has like huge tech companies, richest man in the world. But you can also include Thiel, who has connections to JD Vance. There was the head of Apple was there, head of Google was there. This other guy, which Leumas and I were talking in the pre-show about, the Stargate, the head of Oracle, which is an interesting name in itself, CA connections, as they're talking about this new glorious day of AI. So these emerging technologies are real. There's a lot of things being pushed onto the media or in the public, and Leumas is here to talk about it. So Leumas, welcome back to the show.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on again. And it's good to work with you, William. Always good to be here.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think all our shows are excellent. So I definitely recommend people go back and listen to our earlier shows. I think they are evergreen, and we cover some great topics, Philip K. Dick, things like that. But maybe we can just kind of do an intro. You can talk about your background. You've had your show for some time now, and then kind of lead up to this topic of emerging technologies and this suppose, I should have put it in quotes in the title, is this really going to be a new golden age?
Yeah. Well, I'm Leumas, and I've been host of Chant It Down podcast for coming up on 12 years. And I've gone through a lot of different research. Even long time before I was a podcaster, but I do a lot of varied research in a lot of things, but this kind of stuff really I feel like it's really important to understand the time we're in, and everybody's so immersed in tech now that I can't but not share this kind of stuff. Even if I don't even really like talking about it, sometimes it's kind of dark and everything, but it has to be. People need to understand what they're getting into. And a listener forwarded me a document about a month ago, and it sent me down a rabbit hole, especially after Trump announced Stargate. And we had Larry Ellison talking about mRNA vaccines. Like, they just can't give this stuff up enough. They can't give it up. They want this in everybody. And so I don't like to push gloom and doom, and I hope this is going to be a good year, and I plan on making it a good one. But we need to be aware, and just so people listening out there know, I don't like politics, and I'm not into any of that. I don't have what do you call it, Trump derangement syndrome either. But this year is some type of milestone year in their book, and this has been in their plans, this golden age. And we talked on my show, William, we talked on my show about Trump, how they've possibly been saving Trump in their back pocket for now. And even though I like some of the anti-woke things happening, I'll take little victories. I mean, I kind of like what RFK is saying. We'll see where it goes. But this stuff, no matter who's in power, this stuff marches forward. This fully automated world, this cashless society, this AI run society, like they're not putting any brakes on for this stuff. So when I got this document, Emerging Technologies, in 2001, it was created. I knew that I needed to mine through it, and sure enough, here we are. It's pretty telling of this age now.
Right. And it's a pretty, like you said, the pre-show, we could do like 5 shows on this document alone because it's so thorough, right? Let me see if I can
Yeah,
pull it up here.
yeah. It's got a lot in it. I mean, you could go a lot of different ways. But yeah. So January 2001, how many months is that before 9/11? Not
Oh,
far, right?
no.
So um well, let's see.
This is like a counterterrorism document, so it's
Yeah.
like potential
Yeah.
terrorism stuff, but it's also these other names that are in here, like, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Construction bioterrorism, terrorist use of technology techniques, epidemiology of biological weapons. I mean, a lot of bioweapon stuff in this, right?
Yeah, a lot of bioweapons, a lot of on terrorism. You're going to hear, I'll read a few things from it. You're going to hear weapons of mass destruction a lot in here. And this is, again, 2001. So it's like this has been in their making for a long time here. Let's see if I can.
Right, this is before the anthrax attacks, right?
Right,
After
right.
9/11. So that
Uh-huh.
was a real bioweapons with anthrax that had to have come from the United States, right? It was totally weaponized. And then it was deployed at the senator's office too, right? Senatorial offices and things like that.
And I suppose if you didn't pay attention, then that you could easily brush over that because 9/11 was so big, all the the buildings and all the casualty and all that, but that was happening at the same time too.
I think it was 1 month later. I don't think it was much later than
No,
9/11, like it was October or something like that.
right, right.
I can
Yep.
remember. Yeah. Amazing. Dan, you
Yeah.
have some slides too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got some slides. They're not super interesting to look at, but I'll read from them what they're saying here because this is kind of just crazy here. So it says, in summary, we present a timeline for future threats from weapons of mass destruction, especially bioweapons. This timeline will cover from the near term to the year 2025. We present one major recommendations for how to prepare for these threats. The recommendation involves the use of virtual reality in the form of large-scale distributed simulator that will be used to evaluate alternate response strategies, technologies, and evolve into fielded national distributed command and control system. Other recommendations to enhance response preparations are included. So, I mean, what I guess, well, it's like they're talking about terrorism before 9/11, and then you got the weapons of mass destruction. That was the thing that stuck out there. But I wanted to mention before I forgot, because we were talking off air about Ilana Freeland. We've had her both on our shows. She talks a lot about this technology as dual uses, and I think I've had her on my show about 3 times, and that there is these dual uses for all these things we get. There's the ostensible reason, like giving us all phones connected to DARPA's internet because it's so amazing to have all the world's information in the palm of your hand, and then the real reason to track and collect our data and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of uses for these applications they put out.
Right. Yeah, no, it is like everything has a dual use and collecting information and all that stuff. So it's kind of scary.
Spying on us and all that.
Fun, right.
So
But yeah,
again,
2025 is a big date in this document. Like
it is. So here it says, in approaching our task, we emphasize emerging technologies from the present through the future. We specifically looked at 2000, 2005, and 2025. We included first responders, both from the law enforcement and the medical community. We included operators from the crisis and consequence communities. We also included policymakers in our conference and individual meetings. We brought these groups together with leading technologies for many areas of emerging technologies. These technologies, in many cases, had a double-edged sword in the sense that they could be used for both threats and responses. So there goes some more dual use there. And just again, 2025 is some kind of milestone marker in these people's minds. I'm not sure yet what it is, but it almost feels like the years since this document has been a testing and trial stage for the reaction of the public with big manufactured events. And I've been calling this century the century of psyops, because since, well, this document, or 9/11, you could say, it's just been psyop after psyop, as we've talked about before.
They haven't stopped. I mean, it's
No.
9/11, anthrax, Iraq war lies, right? That's a huge psyop, and
Yeah.
all the way to the, I mean, all the way to COVID, war in Ukraine, just everything is fake. I mean, they really were able to create almost Truman Show level of fakery through the U.S. What we're finding out, USAID, and all of the tendrils. Just imagine, like our tax dollars, we were paying for our own psyops, which is really incredible. So we are sustaining our own psyops without our knowledge. It's incredible.
And not to mention all the other terror attacks around the world, ISIS, and all the mass shootings that have happened. I mean, I know a lot of those are proved to be fake or staged, And
I think Putin said that 9 out of 10 terrorist attacks, I think he's telling the truth, are run by the U.S. government.
Right.
When I wrote my first book in 2010, I had a section about like the fake terror attacks, and a lot of them were on numerological dates, which is weird, but they were all fake. So if you remember the Bali bombing, that was fake. 7/7 in London was fake.
Mm-hmm.
There was the 3/3 bombings in Madrid, right? Very similar to 7/7. All the way up to 10/7, right? So we've had another fake, like that's fake. The so-called war against Israel by Hamas is just pure fiction, man. It's total.
Yeah.
I mean, people died, but that was a false flag of the first order. So,
well, when something doesn't work right, like this, one of the most securest places in the world, supposedly, just suddenly you can just get through. Those are always the telltale signs that there's an agenda at hand. Just like, I mean, even you could look at Lahaina, Maui, when they didn't put out the sirens, they didn't sound the sirens, and or whatever, cameras don't work in these places. These are all staged events where normally these things work and they're foolproof.
It's incredible. They haven't really accounted or said they're sorry for all the people who died either in Lahaina, like kids, like 1,000 kids died.
Oh,
they just covered it up and just moved forward. Like it's sociopathic psychopathy of the first order. It's incredible.
And they're still going with the deaths of 102 people. And here is a place densely populated with tourists, and only 2 tourists died. It's just like, yeah, right. And then, of course, bodies supposedly floated over to the island of Lanai, where Larry Ellison owns 98%. I'm sure he knows about some of those bodies they didn't talk about on the mainstream news. But
I'm sure he does. And everybody got a $700 check while they're looting us blind in Ukraine. It's incredible. It's just like, I mean, it's really something else. Like, talk about corruption. It's like off the charts. But yeah, 2025 is it. It's really, I mean, that's partly part of the psyop is like, we're not even going to pay it. Like, we're not even going to acknowledge it as truth. Like, I don't even think it's like a lie. It's like real things happen. And then they just don't even acknowledge their actions in reality.
Yeah. Here's this little, I'll get through this pretty fast here because there's a lot in here, right? You could just, like, say, do shows about this, but let's see. It is through geography that we will be able to show how dramatically the landscape of the 21st century will be altered from the 20th century position. Many of these changes have already been put into place. More will come by 2005 and by 2025. We expect that dramatic changes will have occurred, and we will severely stress our ability to protect our borders. Yeah, right. And at the same time, preserve the present position in the world. Well, anyway, 2025, again, of course, I think the border thing too, that is a problem reaction solution kind of thing here. We'll see what happens to that, but I don't know what you've thought about that.
It's just incredible. The breakdown of the border under Biden was really off the charts, but I've kind of had a theme of kind of this borderlessness in my podcast because the borders are changing. All this, we're still fighting about borders, like whether it's Ukraine, Russia, or the Mexican-American border, or the conflict that's happening borderlessly, like this article mentions, really is an issue that didn't really, I mean, we used to have more defined kind of sensibilities about who belongs where and illegality and what's an undocumented. But now it's kind of like all, well, at least up until Trump recently, it's all kind of become a big mishmash. Like, oh,
yeah. And then what is this?
migrants, yeah.
What is this going to become too? Like, so I mean, what kind of a border are they creating now? And I don't know. There's a lot of things that maybe need to be looked at with that, but I'm not sure. But certainly they left the borders open. I mean, no doubt.
No question, no
Yeah,
question.
no
Mayorkas already should have been arrested. So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't even know
I
what's
know.
going on.
And Canada too. I mean, people just come in through there. It's
And
crazy.
rape and kill and slaughter and steal and all kinds. I mean, it's just like really the breakdown of law and order.
Yeah.
In the simplest sense of the word. Yeah.
By design. So this thing here says creating a war where the U.S. attacks itself. This is same document here. And our approach results in a covert takeover without involvement against the U.S. military. Take inherent weakness, fragility, culture of the U.S. social system. Response to the attack creates infringement upon U.S. freedoms, which alienate people from government, eventually the military. I mean, look at it, infringement of U.S. freedoms. 9/11 was what, about 7 months later from this document? Or, I mean, wow,
This is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But this is like laying out exactly what happened in the U.S. It's incredible.
It is.
In
2000,
it is. Right.
It's incredible. It's just
combined bio. It's under combined bio and cyber threats. So they've got the bio cyber threat 1-2 punch.
Yeah, amazing. I thought that was pretty amazing. And then here we get into this. Yeah, the zebra chip. I've never even heard of this before, but built on rapid private sector development of gene chips for medical diagnostics. Well, isn't that what Larry Ellison was talking about in the announcement of Stargate? He was talking about gene editing and basically getting a vaccine tailored to you.
Right, and it's going to cure cancer, right? So it's like it's coming on right at, and this is like that announcement was 2 days after the inauguration.
Yeah.
So like they had it planned, and like this was important for them to bring that out, right?
Right.
Mr. Warp Speed himself.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't give up these mRNA vaccines. Hopefully, I'm not getting you thrown off
I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gotten off of YouTube, so I haven't been censored on Rumble, Rockfin, or X yet. So.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, yeah, you shouldn't be with those. X maybe, but yeah. So gene therapy. This talks about a chapter in gene therapy. So I kind of went into it. I didn't put it on here, but it talks a lot about targeting cells and making vaccines for individuals. Exactly what they were talking about, and making more effective biological weapons. So that whole chapter, gene therapy. I mean, who had heard of gene therapy until 2021?
Very small proportion of the population. I think they were doing very small CRISPR stuff, which is really crazy. I don't know if you noticed this, but Elon Musk had another child, his 13th announced child, I don't know, with this woman, Ashley St. Clair, and they use CRISPR technology on the embryo, which I don't even know if that's legal in the U.S.
I don't know.
This is her own admission, CRISPR technology. So,
wow, yeah,
this is emerging technology. Is this the new golden age? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard of CRISPR technology for African Americans who had sickle cell disease, and they actually had a good outcome. So,
okay. Well, and then there's the dual use. I mean, some of these things are good on the surface, but then what will they use it for? And it's in their hands, so it's kind of scary. But yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this is. Go ahead and read from that, would you?
Yeah, emerging technologies. Let me make the screen larger. I need glasses. Yeah, emerging technologies that create bioweapons that infect large segments of the population, spread rapidly, have latency, allow release in the air. I'll come back to that, and are relatively inexpensive to produce an attack that may overwhelm present interagencies plans. These events will need a level of coordination and training that has not been achieved in the past. It differs from a conventional attack with an explosive device. The rapid spread of the disease would require rapid containment and quarantine of large populations across multiple states and cities. Although most bioagents today have treatments, we expect that biotechnology after 2005, there will appear a new assortment of bioagents for which we do not have treatments. We also expect that by 2025, with genetic engineering, there'll be more dramatic change in these agents, making them harder to detect and treat.
Wow.
So that's a big one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is what kind of stuff that Fauci's been working on for decades.
Yeah.
Access to these kinds of documents and this kind of thinking. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And I kind of, emphasized in there allows release in the air. Now I've been a deep diver into chemtrails and this bioweapon, basically that we've all been ingesting for a long time. I've been watching them since 1998, and I've done a lot of material on it on my show. But I said a few slides back about bioweapons and how they infect large segments of the population, and then it spread rapidly and allow release in the air. And that could have been original COVID. I mean, you had some. I think it was you that told me you had something really bad during that time. I know
the worst I've ever been sick was January 2020.
Yeah,
I was laid out on this couch over here for a week. I just coughed for a week and couldn't move and urinated rosé. Like I literally never had that happen to me before.
Wow.
Like like my kidneys were just not working or something going on.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk up a flight of steps for like a week. I was like winded every time.
Wow.
One flight of steps.
See, so I think they put something real out there right in the beginning. Right. Yeah, a friend of mine who never took the jab and doesn't feel the same since he got COVID, and this is in the beginning days. So I think they put a bioweapon here and there, and they even may have used different codes to infect different ethnic groups. That's kind of what I was thinking too during that time, but who knows? I think they did release something. So yeah,
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And I think they're using the air. They just did a study on these weird fogs. Have you followed this? I mean,
I have, but I can't get enough
there's a guy on X, maybe I can find the video, but they've captured it and studied it, and that stuff is carrying bacteria. So where are those weird kind of fogs are coming from? Like imagine just a bacteriological fog. So I think they're doing tests, and they've been caught doing tests on the public without their assent. There was a famous one that I remember. They didn't tell anybody in San Francisco.
Oh, Operation Sea Spray.
Yeah, tell people about that.
Yeah, that was they basically, I think they just sprayed influenza at like eye level into San Francisco fog, and it affected an entire population just for an experiment. I believe
people died. Like people,
yeah.
Older people that they killed off just to like as an experiment. CIA's been busted like poisoning an entire French town with the LSD to see what would happen if people took LSD without their assent, just to see how crazy they would get. So this whole LSD testing, there was all kinds of inadvertent testing and things like that. Operation Midnight Climax, like it's almost like a mad scientist level of stuff. So this is what they've found from the past. So you can imagine what's happening today.
I know when people say trust government, I mean, oh, wow. You don't know about, like what was that? The Tuskegee experiment where they infected black males with syphilis. I mean,
the kind of suffering of Tuskegee was off the charts because they let them degrade for decades, and they could have just given them some antibiotics. Like sick.
Yes.
Totally horrible. Racist. Like if you're paranoid, you're not paranoid enough. You're just not paranoid enough.
Right. I agree with you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this is just something that was in here too. So I've studied a lot about what some of the materials they're spraying, and some people find these self-replicating nanotubes. Well, here it talks about carbon nanotubes here in this document as well. I mean, we don't have to really get into that, but I thought I'd just throw it out there as well.
But that's supposedly what they've argued are in this these shots and stuff. And they
Yeah.
busted a guy working with China. His name was Charles Lister or Luster. Have you ever heard that story? He was working on these nanotubes that could actually influence cellular stuff because they're so small.
Right.
They're like small at the cellular level. It's amazing.
And what they've been spraying on people for the last, the whole century, basically, and more, is actually they found that in every, like, there's some grassroots scientists that have found that we all have these like tubes inside us, these little self-replicating micro nanotube bots or whatever they are. And yeah, it's like they're building something, trying to build something in our bodies. It's total experimentation.
It's off the charts. And
So,
some of this stuff has escaped. Like Lyme disease is a fake disease.
oh,
It was
right. Yep.
developed by a Nazi off of like one of these islands, Oak Island or something in near Long Island or something like that in New England. And it escaped into the wild where I think it's like County Lyme or something. And that's why it got its name. Like that was a bioweapon that got loose. And then this other, what's the one that they have from the spring where like tubes come out of people's body?
Morgellons, yeah.
Yeah, Morgellons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what, that's what they're called, Morgellons, those carbon nanotubes. They just give it a name.
So
unbelievable.
Scary, yeah. Pretty scary stuff.
So this is a document you probably seen before many years, and I've seen it forever. It's been out for a really long time. Actually, it was created in 1996. Weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025. And here again, we have the year 2025. I just put this up just because it's kind of like a diagram of what they want the grid to be like. GWN is Gwyn towers, which are these towers we have all around us, and this whole network. But I thought it was interesting because it says there, courtesy of Microsoft, and of course, Bill Gates has had his fingers in this pie for a long time.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So
wow. I mean, that's going back to 95. That's the way they're thinking 30 years ago, right?
Yeah, owning the weather. I mean, I think they do own the weather the way I watch it. And this year, I should mention, I can't take credit for. It was Freeman who noticed that it was like a C-SPAN thing that in 1996 it was the year they allowed NATO to fly foreign pilots to fly in our airspace. So this is kind of the beginning of when all this began too. So should throw that in there too. And let's not forget that Trump's uncle, I think it was his uncle, took Tesla's technology, and this is Tesla's stolen work that uses the ionosphere to bounce energy off of things like HARP and these ionospheric heaters and things like that, which is a whole rabbit hole of its own stuff, But
wow, no, that's right. His dad was his uncle was entrusted with the papers of Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is just a diagram. I mean, here they have 2025 again on here at the very end of their timeline. Whoops. Go back here. Yeah. So I noticed a couple of things that stood out to me here, but I got to enlarge it to see directed energy. We've heard a lot about directed energy weapons in the last few years. Yeah, just a lot. Weather force support element, anyway, this is just kind of, I guess, what they wanted by 2025. I think they may have it by now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, is Trump the golden boy? Like, we know he loves gold, right? Everything gold. So is he the
right, he has a golden toilet.
Golden everything. The golden toilet room with all gilded stuff. Gold is like his big theme is Trump Tower, monolith in Vegas, where they just had that weird bombing is a big gold thing, so he is tied into all this stuff like crazy.
I know. So this is something that also came up, and this is the externalization of the hierarchy by Alice Bailey, which is put out by Lucius Trust, right? Which used to be formerly the Lucifer Publishing Company, and she wrote many books on theosophy, and She says right here, thus, a great and new movement is proceeding and a tremendously increased interplay and interaction is taking place. This will go on until AD 2025. During the years intervening between now and then, very great changes will be seen taking place at the Great General Assembly of the Hierarchy, held as usual every century. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. The present cycle from now until that date, this is written in 1957, is called technically the stage of the forerunner. It is a preparatory in nature phase, testing in its methods and intended to be revelatory in its techniques and results. You can see, therefore, that Chohan's masters, initiates, world disciples, aspirants affiliated with the hierarchy are still all at this time passing through a cycle of great activity. Whatever that exactly means sounds like demons to me, but who knows? But
The timing's incredible because they're saying really strange stuff. Like Elon Musk is saying Novus Ordo Seclorum, when they won. I mean, very powerful, different things like that tie into this externalization of the hierarchy. Alice Bailey, and she's like a follow on from Blavatsky, right? So it goes Blavatsky to Bailey to the UN and Lucis Trust and all this other stuff.
yeah,
Really to Hitler. Hitler's kind of ideas were Blavatsky and Bailey and this whole Aryan race and all this stuff. It's all
that's
Luciferianism,
right.
yeah.
It is, and I think that we've really been seeing this century. Well, the externalization of the hierarchy. I mean, I think if you tried convincing somebody of all this stuff in like the 90s versus now, or they think you're crazy, but now it's like we have seen already externalization of the hierarchy, in that form anyway.
It's incredible. Like, this is the world religion. Like, the UN's involved in everything. A lot of these guys are writing for the UN. Like, one of the they're influencers too, right? So Jordan Peterson would work for the UN. Eric Weinstein worked for the UN. So a lot of the stuff that he wrote about was about this kind of migration replacement, which is taking place. Like, Ireland's overrun with migrants. Like, the whole Irish culture and people have been destroyed from within. In the U.S. to a certain extent under Biden. This is all UN type stuff. Satanism.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Dark. This is just Luciferianism here. I don't know. I mean, it's like it has like this happy front, like they're for world peace, and then you go on their website and they're all about the sustainable development goals, and it's all
you're up till 4 a.m.
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it ties into Barbara Marx Hubbard and all the stuff. I've done shows with John Brisson about a lot of this stuff, and it's just like all coming together. He's super suspicious about Trump. He is not on board with MAGA at all as a Christian. So like all these other people, like Trump is going to make all this great change, but he's putting together the basis of like the revelation of these 10 kingdoms.
Right. And like, if you're against the mark of the beast, if he was a man of God, wouldn't he be like, no, we don't want any of this AI coming in, this whole Stargate, all this? Like, you would be against it, but that's not the case. So.
He's never accounted for Operation Warp Speed.
No.
So he's covered. Instead, he doubled down with this whole $500 billion AI thing.
Yeah.
So that should make people kind of like go, hey, something may be suspicious here.
Still pushing the mRNA vaccines that obviously killed a whole lot of people, and yet they still want to push it. Amazing. They want this in people.
They want something. They may not even be disclosing the total. I don't think they disclosed what they were doing with everybody. I mean, it's a huge experiment. On a bunch of guinea pigs. We don't know. People don't know what they took. Some people clearly took a saline shot. I think they did. Some people did, and you don't know who got what, where, which lot went somewhere, but it was all probably overseen by these data crunching titans like Teal Palantir, who can trace all this stuff through a very complex, software system like Palantir, like reading what goes where and the responses and the data that comes back. Like imagine being like in that kind of strange Lovian war room where you're seeing all those, like the real data, not the fake data that goes out to the public, but knowing what goes where, like almost a James Bond level of knowledge. Like that's really what happened, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And we got to be, I think we got to be looking out. Also, another guy that's on the radar, I think, that is Sam Altman. He's part of OpenAI, another person that, is pushing this really hard. All these people, Peter Thiel, yeah, all those people need to be scrutinized a lot more by people. Musk, yeah.
Sure, they're all nudging. Like that's the whole thing of what is it? What's the guy's name who wrote that book about cognitive infiltration? Who's the Harvard professor? Anyway, he wrote that thing like you're supposed to, tell people what to do. This could happen. And so Altman's kind of famous recently for saying some of this stuff may have to change. Like our whole civil society may have to change. Like he's not saying it will change. It's just something to think about. They're putting it out into the mental psychosphere or whatever. And Musk, yeah.
Oh,
so let me play this clip of Musk. This is kind of creepy because it kind of ties into this externalization of the hierarchy, and it's Musk and Peterson. Watch this to the end. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, so, actually a little.
You said you were up till 4 a.m?
Yeah, so, actually a little more like 5 a.m. But okay. We got the XAI data center or supercomputer center training from beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building off to the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Isn't that again?
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding.
Laughing, right? Like to somebody who's watching like this, they should be freaked out by what these two guys are saying.
Maybe that makes my hair stand up. So I wanted to find too a video that maybe someone out there knows about. Lucius Trust talking about this savior of mankind coming in, and that goes exactly they're all looking for this, Antichrist figure. Basically, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's pretty much is, fitting the bill.
They're talking about the return of the lady in the UFO community, right? And so it's kind of a weird thing that ties in. This lady is the representation of Lady Babylon that they like, who's part of the Great White Brotherhood.
Oh, wow.
The lady is who L. Ron Hubbard communicated with and Jack Parsons communicated with. And when they were in the desert, they were trying to communicate with the lady that they're talking about. So here's another one. Listen to this video till the very end. This guy waits. I don't know how this interview was structured, but this guy's name is Bledsoe, a former Christian minister, I think, who's kind of changed. But this one will make your hair stand on end. Watch this.
Exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter.
What will happen?
The alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines and it comes out that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026. And from that point forward, they started remote viewing the state. Government did. And now you hear it all over TV. 2026, that's the big date. 2027, that year, something's going to happen. Armageddon, you hear it all over. You hear it on TV. If you study, like I've heard even. Well, I won't say names, but
please do.
Well, Lou Elizondo, right? Lou's mentioned that date. A lot of people have.
Easter 2026.
Well, the year 2026. I gave him the specific time. And it was with Robert Grant that I told him about this alignment and all. And then he's like, oh my God, he's been looking for this ruby, this little ruby you have to find and place it between the paws of the Sphinx to make this event that he knows is going to happen in 2026. I said, Robert, it's not a ruby, it's the Star of Regulus. And he looks at it, he's like, oh my God, it's the King's Star. So what's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host living with us, Jesus. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life publicly.
That's the lady,
Christ.
right? So
Yeah.
he uses the thing, this kind of matria.
Or the lady
This is
and
not
the
biblical. This is
whole
not New Testament.
heavenly host. I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host living with us, Jesus. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life publicly. You're the first.
Wow.
That's it. That's the lady. Yeah.
The lady.
The lady's going to
Interesting.
return.
See, he mentioned Lou Elizondo, and I've never trusted this UAP rollout thing that they're doing. It's kind of like this thing they're doing sort of behind the scenes in the background. Like some people are watching, but not a lot. But I feel like that's really going to surface in a year or so, or whenever he's saying maybe. I don't know, but that's crazy. Wow.
So during the Babylon working, Hubbard and Parsons are together, and they would invoke out in the desert. And this is a quote from Children of the Beast, my book, Children of the Beast. The ceremony, likely aided by narcotics and hallucinogens, required Hubbard to channel the female deity of Babylon as Parsons performed the invocation of wand with material bases on talisman. Parsons typically invoked twice a night. Quote, make a box of blackness at 10 o'clock, smear the vessel with which contains a flame with thine own blood, destroy at the altar a thing of value, remain in perfect silence and heed the voice of our lady. Speak not of this ritual or of her coming to any person. Display thyself to our lady. Dedicate thy organs to her. Dedicate thy heart to her. Dedicate thy mind to her. Dedicate thy soul to her. For she shall absorb thee, and thou shalt become living flame before she incarnates.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from the Babylon working.
That's pretty eerie.
Yeah, so this is happening. Like they're 1 year off from your year 2025, but it's 2026, and some kind of occult thing, like at the Sphinx, right? So it's in Egypt.
Yeah,
So,
and then Elon Musk mentioned Memphis in Egypt too.
Good point. Yeah,
I don't know if that's a connection or not, but yeah. Well, you currently can't go in between the paws of the Sphinx unless you. Well, I guess you can if you're, with the government, but you can. I guess you can pay a whole lot of money and get in the enclosure, but when I went to the Sphinx, you could not. So,
I think it's Harvard just put out a digital copy of somebody going into the King's Chamber in the main temple. I'll try to put a link of that or find it on my social media. I'll send it to you. It's pretty interesting. So somebody goes all the way down that kind of long staircase into the main temple that Crowley did some rituals in there.
Oh yeah,
but it is interesting. You're right. This whole connection to Egypt, right? It goes all the way back. I just did a bunch of shows on Catcher in the Rye, and they have a whole like Egypt section. Like for some reason, they put like him going into a museum and going into Egypt, which is like the centerpiece of kind of Crowleyism and Masonry and all this other stuff is the times of Egypt. But it's all coming back around, like all this crazy externalization of the hierarchy. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll read this one last thing here, and I guess it's cut off from something. See if I can find the original document here just a second. But
is that from, yeah, so it's all that stuff, Shambhala.
Yeah, this is the, yeah, okay. This is from the externalization of the hierarchy, and this is Alex Bailey. This fullness of time as regards the particular planning with which we are dealing is from now until the year 2025 AD, a brief period of time indeed in which to see the consummation of the larger purpose of the planetary logos. So again, 2025, this era, this is their golden era. I think the last one, I think they mentioned the golden era in here. Yeah, here. That's why I put this up. All right. It says the release of energy will eventually make money as we know it. If no moment whatsoever money has proved itself a producer of evil and a sower of dissension and discontent in the world, this new released energy can prove itself a saving force for all mankind, releasing from poverty, ugliness, degradation, slavery, and despair. It will destroy the great monopolies, take the curse out of labor, and open the door into that golden age for which all men await. So yeah, the golden age, which Trump started talking about right on his second day of, or actually maybe even his first day of inauguration. I can't remember, but definitely at the Stargate press release for sure.
Wow, that's incredible. I never made that connection. That's incredible. So Trump's talking about the golden age, and all these guys are coming out, this weird kind of Bledsoe character and Musk, and these people affiliated with the UN.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson wrote for the UN. I didn't know that.
I didn't know
he
that.
wrote papers for that. Yeah, for them.
Oh.
And he doesn't disclose it either. Either does Eric Weinstein, which you can't blame him because people would go, say, what? You work for the UN? Like, you're willing to work for the UN? Hold on. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Like people who don't know the meditation room or whatever.
Right.
They can go. Yeah.
They want to do, they always say they want to eliminate poverty and all their sustainable development goals, and here it kind of talks about that, that releasing from poverty, ugliness, degradation, slavery, and despair. Yeah, right. The slavery part, they definitely are not disclosing the real truth there, but digital slavery.
Yeah, I don't think they're honest. I mean, Barbara Marx Hubbard wanted to be the white horse. She wants to be the white horse to kill off a quarter of the population of the world. That's her point. That's what she wants. She wants to fulfill that kind of stuff, A quarter of the population needs to be offed. That's the way these people at Lucis Trust thinks. It's Lucifer. This is Luciferianism. That's what it is.
It is. It is. It used to be just called the Lucifer Publishing Company, which is, what they call the light bringer. And they're always talking about taking in the light, the invocation, meditation, and all this stuff. It's just, it looks okay on the surface if someone's like, oh, they're not so bad, but no, look who they're tied to and look what they're really saying.
It's a much darker element than your standard dime store Satanism, because Satanism is honest about their, lust and 7 deadly sins. But these guys this is what's the real good. And Lucifer is the real bringer of light to the world, He was cast out, and they symbolize him by Prometheus for people who don't know, which is why you'll see a gilded Prometheus at Rockefeller Center. The Rockefeller family is Luciferian. And that's their religion, is this kind of stuff, this kind of Alice Bailey type stuff. And they financed a lot of stuff. Lawrence Rockefeller was kind of the cultural arm of the Rockefeller family, and he financed so many of these UFO people, John Mack. There's pictures of Lawrence Rockefeller with John Mack and some of these other kind of guys whose names I can't remember, but some people who are big in the kind of UFO community, definitely Esalen. So a lot of that stuff, but
that whole thing's a circus of people. The ufology community. I mean, there's a few okay voices in there, I think, but most of it is just, it's confusing on purpose too. But yeah, you got to really watch who you're listening to in that.
There's a lot of flat out occultists. I mean, Lavenda's in there writing for the To the Stars Academy. It's not even arguable. Like, I've had confrontations with Levin. He tried to tag me as an anti-Semite. That was his kind of attempt, was try to get me in trouble with the Jews, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But this is incredible, man. This is an incredible presentation. Like, you put stuff together that I didn't expect. Like, it's not just
Thanks.
about the emerging technology. It's like, what's it in service to, right?
Well, yeah, and they wanted us all to get on the internet, which of course came from DARPA. And I like to make the connection that net is kind of like a trap, right? The web, and slowly our entire lives are on the internet. They wanted us all to have smartphones, and this has been a plan since a long time ago. They want us to scan QR codes. I actually opened up an old phone of mine. I think it was an iPhone 6, and it can scan a QR code. So they always wanted this in. This whole entire thing has been on a schedule, and they're in a hurry too, I think, because like during COVID, you probably noticed they installed 5G when the world was locked down. I mean, I thought it was just supposed to be essential workers. Why is that essential? Why do we need this internet next stage during this so-called pandemic? I can't even call it a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then,
no, it's incredible. They shut down the churches, but you can still get booze. So you see something spiritual or cultural is taking place, if that's the case. I think they lost a lawsuit here in California. The churches sued for shutting down the church, and got the state had to pay them out. So that was one church, I think, in Southern California. But wow. Yeah, this is incredible stuff. People have to be really watching out for this. It's really here. Like, it's not like sometimes these things are just academic or they're in books like, oh, we just read this book. This is the way they're thinking. This is like the real world. Trump is not a Christian, guys. He may say God or whatever, but he doesn't go to church, and he's not quoting stuff, or he's not. All of his past is like not consistent with him as like a Bible believing person of any stripe. Maybe he's Jewish. I don't know. People have argued that.
Maybe. Well, he's just trying to appeal.
He studied the Kabbalah. Like, that's a known fact. Like,
you
can see that there's an article about him studying Kabbalah, so I know that.
Well, I think he's just trying to appeal to the mass white Christian audience in the United States and world that would want to vote for him and side with him. So he had to do that. I mean, I listened to Ole Demigard's breakdown of that assassination attempt he had last summer, and there's a lot of things in there that are, I mean, he really did get shot at, but there's a lot of things in there that point to the fact that it could have been a planned thing. So
it would be very risky, that's for sure, to have a bullet go, because somebody died. That one guy, Comparatori, died. Other people took bullets. There was more than one shooter.
Yeah, there's more than one shooter.
Yeah. So I think but I mean, I think that the people who he's surrounding would be willing to kill him. So it's like, anyway, we're at the 55-minute mark. I got another interview here in about 45 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to say, or anything I missed, or how do you want to, anything you'd like to wrap up?
No, that's really it. I just wanted to throw out that this is some kind of big marker in their timeline. We're in their timeline. That's what we're in. And I think it's time to just really be aware and not be tricked by anything. We have to really be careful in these times. The time is now, like you said. It's not later. Yeah,
it's incredible. It's incredible days, like incredible time to be alive. Where can people listen to Chant It Down, Leumas?
Well, Chant It Down, all podcast players. I'm releasing a documentary, and you're in it, William. Some clips of you in it as well. Sacred Site, which might, I don't know. I'm gonna be on the lookout. sacredsite.info will be the website. I'm going to release it hopefully in a week, but I can't tell you for certain. But you'll be able to,
come back on and talk. Let's promote it when you're done.
Yeah. So it's totally different subject matter. It's a lot more, I suppose, happier than what we're discussing here. But at the same time, just talking about the ancient past. We're going on expeditions, finding things like hidden pyramids and stuff that is in, looking at an ancient world that's kind of, the some of the lost chapters of our history, but also putting a lot of truth in there too that we're talking about here right now too. So it's a mixture of things.
Cool. Sacred Site.
Yeah.
That's the name of the documentary.
Yeah.
And the website is sacredsite.info. Is it
Yeah.
up? So can I link to it?
No, not yet. I have when I publish it, but sight as in sight with your eyes. So Sacred Site.
Site.
Yeah.
SIGHT. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. And then it's Chant It Down Radio. I'll put a link to Chant It Down. If people have any questions or want to reach out to you, they can find you through your website, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming back on the show. Another great episode. And again, it's Leumas of Chant It Down Radio. And today we talked about emerging technologies and the quote, new golden age, unquote. So we'll see what Trump has in store for us. But thanks for coming back. Great to see you.
Good to be here.
Stay there.